Hi there. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfect.
Okay, great. Give me 2 minutes to finish setting up here, then we'll do the intro. We'll get started, all right?
Okay, thank you.
I'll be right back. And just so I know when I say it, it's Cindy Keil.
Kyle.
Kyle, thank you.
And how do I pronounce you? Kowalski? Is that
Kowski, and my full name is Ian Lepkowski, so it's just the Kowski part of that.
okay? Do you want me to call you Ian or you want me to call you what you go by
Doesn't
anyway?
matter. Ian or Kowski is fine.
Okay, I'll call you Ian.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Welcome to the Talking About Life podcast. I am your host, Ian Lepkowski. It is 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hello, hola, bienvenidos, konnichiwa, and annyeong haseo. And welcome to the show once again. Today, we have another guest. I always say we're incredibly grateful to the universe, to God, whatever the forces that be that get these guests to be interested and to want to come on the show and to share their time with us. So we're incredibly grateful for today. We have Cindy Keil sharing her time with us. She is our guest. On Twitter, she is Cindy Keil Coaching. The official Twitter handle is Cindy Keil Coach. That's CindyKeilCoach, Cindy Keil Coach. Her bio reads self care coach, empowering women to simplify, declutter their heads, hearts, and homes using holistic practices so they could be, do, and have what they truly desire. Cindy, this is our first conversation. How are you doing today, and how are you doing in general?
I am doing well and I want to thank you for having me today. I'm doing fantastic, actually.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on the show. What we like to do on the show here is dive in and talk about our guest passions. There's really no rules other than, keep it positive, keep it passionate, which I could tell from your bio. You already meet the criteria. Most people do. I've yet to have an episode I didn't enjoy or someone who wanted to come in and talk about hurting people. So God bless, thank God. But everybody's here to keep it positive, and I appreciate it. Why don't you dive in a little bit and kind of just start telling us about what you have in your bio here. It's prominently listed. It's Cindy Keil Coaching. Your name's Cindy Keil Coach. So, I mean, that's clearly the number one. Tell us about the coaching, please.
What I do is I coach women because I used to be the overwhelmed stress solopreneur. And I used to try and do everything for everybody, be a people pleaser, try and fit in. And it just got to be too much. So, um, traveling back home to upstate New York, my mom gave me a book by Alana Van Zant, and it's called One Day My Soul Opened Up. And it's 40 days of just learning how to deeply dive deep into yourself and your soul and decide that you are enough just the way you are, and you can do and have and be anything you want if you truly just let go of all the bullshit and just be your true authentic self. So, what I've done throughout my life, I've worked in corporate America. I'm actually a nurse by trade. And I decided one day I'm sick of giving up all my time to someone else. And I wanted to leverage my time. So what I decided to do is take the leap, take the risk, and I had $8,000 in the bank, and I lived on that. I paid for my school, and I became a.
Wait, are you saying you quit your job with only 8,000 in the bank?
You got it. Yep.
Wow, that's incredibly fucking brave. Kudos.
Yeah, and I can tell you a little more on how I only ended up with $8,000, but I will. Basically, I was married before, and my husband um, moved us around. Well, I moved quite a bit for him, but I didn't know after, oh, I was married to him for almost 4 years. I just didn't feel it was working out, not to go into big details, but he was opening up accounts in my name, and he would throw the bills away because he wasn't working. I was working two jobs, and a third job was a cleaning service. And after I, left, I started getting calls from bill collectors. He left me with $150,000 in debt. And I decided I wasn't going to file bankruptcy. And I expanded my cleaning service, worked full time, and I also did private duty nursing. And I paid it off. I negotiated with all my creditors, and I paid it off in less than 5 years. And in doing so, I ended up with $8,000. I went back to school. I got I got some more certifications, a real estate license, and from there, I just decided I wasn't going to work for anybody anymore, and I took a leap of faith. I practiced real estate. I still have licenses in several states because I've moved around quite a bit. And I decided in 2004, 2005, I was no longer going to work for anybody else but myself. And I was doing real estate up until 2018. And then the pandemic hit, and I am remarried, and we moved several times in between. And I decided when you do real estate, you are helping people going through all trials and tribulations, the best of times, the worst of times. And I was there as like a counselor support. And I said, I can do this for a business. And so I just took it off. I started out doing one on one coaching and just supporting people and telling my story. And I had
Could
50.
you could you flesh that out a little bit more? Because that
Yes.
part's interesting to me. How did you get into the position where I think you said people were kind of coming to you naturally? Like, was
Hmm.
it for free at first, or was that a paid thing? And then how did you get like exactly like what was the step by step from there to okay, this is definitely a paid thing and it's this is the structure.
Okay. When I was doing real estate, you go in and you talk to people and you find out why they're moving and why they're not moving. And I found that I was becoming more of a counselor per se than I was a real estate agent. I was
Hey, what? What is it?
a counselor
Oh,
more
counter. Okay.
more than a realtor. And when the pandemic hit, I decided, you know what, since I have to take a pause from real estate because everything was shut down and we were in the process of moving again, I said, I'm going to just go with a leap of faith and I'm going to help people online. So I started creating videos and talking to people and explaining to them, I was one.
Where did you go to create the videos? Like multiple platforms, just one?
YouTube and Facebook. And I started a Facebook group and it was called Simplified Declutter You. I've now simplified that to Self Care SaaS. I have a community of women. I had 50 women. I built my business up. I had 50 women I was coaching. When the pandemic totally hit, a lot of the people I was taking care of broke off, but I had about 15 people that continued to pay me throughout the whole time. And and it was amazing. They continued to pay me for my services. And I I can't begin to tell you how grateful I was because that helped me pay my bills as I helped them through their struggles and their trials and their tribulations. And now I've coached over 500 women to date. I've sold thousands of dollars of my products and services. I also serve others in the best way by giving them coaching and products for free. But basically, in a nutshell, I am so passionate about helping people maneuver through life in a more positive way, empowering them to let them know that they are enough just the way they friggin' are, no matter what. And they don't have to do anything for anybody else but take care of themselves first. Then they're able to serve their families, their friends, their partners, their spouses, and the people that they serve in the best way. And
Right.
that
And I would say this sounds like something you're aware of, but a concept sometimes people miss on the journey or need to like learn on the journey and it takes some longer than others is that if you're a helpful, kind soul, you might kind of have this native or intuitive feeling of guilt or greed to kind of take care of yourself before you take care of others. But I think what you realize and what I realize is you actually can't take care of anyone else if you aren't taking care of yourself because then you're the person that needs help. So if you really do, want to help others and you're genuine about it, first you got to get a little bit selfish to get yourself on your own 2 feet because you got to be standing to help others get up, kind of thing, right?
you got it, yes. Because when I was not feeling good about myself, I attracted the people and places and things that did not serve me. And that was with partners, husband, friends, frenemies, as I call them now. And it wasn't serving me at all. I wasn't my best self. I was a shopaholic. I drank. I tried to fit in with the Joneses. I had a great job at the time that paid for my bills and everything, but I still was not the true, authentic me. But now I am being my authentic, true self. And I know I attract good in my life. I am very blessed. I'm very grateful. I'm grateful for you, Ian, Ethan. I just, I can't begin to tell you I'm passionate. I'm so passionate about helping others and serve them in the best way. When they're feeling down, I help them with affirmations. I help them to meditation, short meditations, journal. I I just want people to be joyful and happy and not depressed and down and numbing themselves with medications and drugs and alcohol and places and things that don't serve them. But that's what I'm truly passionate about, just serving others in the best way.
I think that's beautiful. And I'll take a second here. I just want to say, I think you're an incredibly strong person based on your story. There's several points in your story where, maybe someone else would have given up or something, to that nature, or would have gotten held back or gotten to drugs or, had some sort of place where they stumbled and they just didn't end up ever getting back on the right track. You not only got back on the right track, but ultimately, you sound happy. You sound like you're succeeding. There's always room to grow. There's always an ambition piece to things. But I'm really happy for you. I'm happy to hear where you are. I'm happy that you're helping other people. My motivation is, I kind of had a rough childhood. And, I wanted kind of someone to come save me, some hero to be there. No one ever came. I heard the quote, sometimes you got to become the hero that you were waiting for, cliche or not. That's a quote that stuck with me. So that's my motivation is I want to be that person that I was always looking for to be there that wasn't there for me. And I want to be that person for other people. And it sounds like you're doing a similar kind of thing.
Yes, because I had a rough upbringing myself. I'm the oldest of four, but now we're three because in 2015, my younger sister passed away from cancer. But
I'm
my dad,
very sorry for your loss. Sorry to hear
oh,
that.
that's
I'm sure that was horrible.
it truly was because we were best friends. But my dad was a violent, volatile human being. He was very abusive to my mom, and he left us, and we ended up living we lost our home. We had a small little home, and we lost our home. And we actually lived in a car for 3 weeks while we waited for the wonderful place we called the Projects in upstate New York. We moved into the Projects. Um, I was bullied, I was beat on, all that happy stuff. And one day I was walking home from school through the park, and the girls who always picked on me and abused me came up. And I finally said to myself, screw her, I'm going to kick her ass. And I kicked her ass. And after that, I said, anybody else? And they all looked at me and they just ran away, believe it or not. And I walked home. And from that day forward, I said, nobody is going to walk on me, make fun of me, or abuse me or anything. And from that day on, I said, I'm not going to live like my mom lived. And I just kept walking. And my mom said, when I walked out the door, I walked out and I never looked back. And that's the truth. I never did. And I'm very proud to say that I just I just love serving others. I love helping others. I've overcome many tribulations, but everybody has. It's all about how you decide you are going to make it. You got to make a choice. It's all comes down to choice of whether you want to stay where you are or go forward and go through the wall and just walk through it one baby step at a time. And I promise you, you will get to the promised land. You will. And when you do that, you will attract good people, good places, opportunities that you never thought that you would get. They do come forward. And sometimes it takes longer than others, but all I can say is I promise you just take that one little step and you keep moving forward and good things will come your way. They truly.
When you say sometimes it takes longer than others, that actually brings me back to a question I meant to ask, but I didn't want to cut you off because I was enjoying everything you were saying. Um, so, recapping for a second, part of your story was quitting your job, realizing you were never going to work for anyone again, going onto, I think you said YouTube and Facebook, and making these videos to let people know that you were now doing like a paid service. Um, how long were you doing YouTube and Facebook and making those like free videos before you got your first client? And what was that like? If you could tell just the story of like the moment where you were like, wow, like this is the first time someone's paying me. It's actually happening kind of thing.
It was after like the first week. All of a sudden, I started getting DMs. I need your help. And then what I did was 15-minute discovery calls, as they call them, and you have a conversation. And then took, I, the first person said, I want to hire you. And I went, holy shit. And then the second person, and then the third person. And then it was referral. And then I always gave like a guide, some type of thing. I gave it away. I didn't charge for certain things. And then I started charging for guides, and then I turned into a mini course. And the first time I did the course, I sold 10. And then the second time I sold 50. And I was like, oh my gosh. And it just got bigger and bigger. And yes, the business does go up and down, but that's okay as long as I'm helping people along the way.
So that's really impressive that you got someone within the first week. I mean, yeah, I think, for some people it definitely takes a lot longer. Um yeah, I'll definitely have to look at more of your videos, but you must have really impressive content if, people watch it for a week and then they're ready to kind of hop in. So, the discovery call, that was a free call, right?
Yes, it was a free call. And then
But
some
your
people are,
first discovery call you did, that person wanted to book.
yes.
That's
Hmm.
amazing. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's really impressive. Let me ask you, what was like, was there a call to action? Like, how did they know to DM you for the discovery call? Like, did you say it at the beginning of the video, the end of the videos? Did you kind of experiment? Like, what was your content creation process?
What I did is, believe it or not, I do it off the cuff. I don't, I may read something that connects with me. Like today, it was mindfulness. So I decided to do a video on mindfulness. Um, I used to take walks on the trail where I lived, and I would talk about the path. What path are you on? And at the end, I would say, if any of you, if this connected or resonated with you, just hit me up in my DMs. I'm here for you. And that's how it happened. I didn't offer, I just said, hit me up in my DMs, and we can discuss stuff and go from there. And that's what I did. And they said, well, I could use your help with, I'm struggling with changing jobs, or I'm struggling with my partner, or I'm struggling trying to create healthy foods for myself, or something like that. And that's how it happened. It,
That's
you
that's really awesome. Sorry, go ahead.
know, when you, self care is your overall well being, it's every aspect of your life, every single aspect of your life, health, wealth, uh, emotional, spiritual. It's everything. It encompasses everything. And when when someone comes to you, if I am unable to help them, I refer them to someone that I can. I've never had. I've only had a few where I've referred them out, like to a dietitian or an actual psychologist, or something like that, where I didn't feel that I was going to be enough to help them through what they were going through. But other than that, I've helped so many people in so many different things, and um, I just am very blessed and grateful in more ways than you can ever imagine.
I would totally agree with you. I'm feeling totally inspired here. And if you could tell, part of the reason I'm asking, these questions is I'm not doing the same thing you're doing, but it's just, okay, here's someone successful. How do I take whatever lessons from their success and apply it to whatever I'm doing in the ways that are applicable so that I could kind of, see similar levels of success. Um, it's definitely, different things, but it's so much value I feel like that you're giving though, because in any industry, there's still the same things. There's sales, there's the marketing, there's the community building. So no matter what you're doing, it's like you're still gonna have to deal with all these same topics. Um, and yeah, it's like, I mean, for you, it's like you seem to just kind of radiate this value. So that's part of what attracts people to you. Um, and so for people getting started, I would just note that in your story, sometimes people are young and they're discouraged and they're getting started and they're just making videos and it's not hitting. Note that in your story, you had to go through, tremendous obstacles, pain, suffering, learning, despair, defeat, getting up and getting knocked down over and over and over again, standing up against your bullies. So it's like, yeah, if you just get started, part of it is just putting out the content, but is your content valuable? So, kind of like as Gary Vee says, he's someone that I like the influence, just be patient because, you know, if you don't have the value yet because you're young, you may need to go through life. You may need to have some experiences. You may need to go to a dark place so that one day in the future you meet someone in that same dark place, and because you got yourself out of it, you can help them out of it. Cindy, another question I wanted to ask you. A lot of the language we're using, we're talking about attract and energy. A lot of that could be religious or spiritual. Do you want to talk, or do you feel comfortable talking a little bit about that? Like, does that tie into your beliefs? Like any
Uh,
sort of that type of thing? Spirituality?
yes, spirituality does. I'm actually a Catholic. I practice Catholic, and I always been a Catholic. Um, and I truly believe that there is a higher being to each and every one of us, whether you believe in a God or you don't. There is a higher being, there is a higher calling, there is someone that you take a pause and you just say you're thankful and you're blessed and you're grateful. Um, and it's different for each and every one of us, but I am very, 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 very spiritual. I I don't read the Bible every day, but I have read the Bible a few times, and I'm very
Wait, really? You've read the whole thing a few times, or you've read like parts of it a few
nope, no,
times?
I read the Bible
Cover to cover,
yeah,
more than once.
yes,
Did you
yeah.
have to, or like that's your
No,
passion?
no. I
Because I think that's a punishment in certain Catholic schools. You
you
got to
know
like
what?
write the whole thing out.
The first time it wasn't easy, let me tell you. And then I said, I need to read it again. And I read it again. And I'll be honest with you, there are some things that I'm not totally in agreement with, but there's a lot of things I am totally in agreement with. So um, I'm with everyone else. I believe, but there's some things I don't. And that's okay because that's who I am. I'm being my true, authentic self to you and the world, or whoever's going to listening now or listening later. But I'm very open to anybody's spirituality and whatever their beliefs are. I'm very open to it because I love to learn.
This may be a slight tangent question, but are you
Mhm.
comfortable sharing what things you don't agree with? Because like, I'm kind of curious, but if it's personal, you don't have to share.
Um, yeah, rather not because of just because of I just rather not, just because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or make them feel differently, if you know what I mean. I just say
Yeah,
that,
totally understand, and
yeah,
I'm not going to push. Like I said, I kind of had that awareness. Hey,
no,
this might be a little
no,
uncomfortable. I always like to be respectful of guest boundaries. What I'll say is, I was raised with Christianity. Honestly, I don't even know what sect my family came from because by the time it got to me, we weren't like following something so specifically. It just to me was like, oh, we're Christians kind of thing. Though I think my family's Catholic, but I want to like like religion them. Um, but yeah, my kind of gripe with religion is for so many people that are passionate about religion, they end up literally doing the opposite of what I think the purpose of religion is. So rather than what I think the purpose is peace, love, connection, cooperation, but not just like with other people you like as a human race. Like I think most religions kind of have this idea of brotherhood among all humans. And even if not, even people who are among the same religion, it's like I see people even fighting, between different sects. And it's like, okay, you could have argument, you could have debate. It's good to have this type of conversation. But when it starts to become like, harassing or negative, or people are so
uh-uh,
upset about arguing like, no, it's this on Sunday, or this, or you wear this, or you eat this. It's like, when do you realize that you kind of missed the point? So that's what I personally don't like, or I like don't agree with about not just Christianity, but religion in general. But in my search for finding my spirituality, I went and I sat and I joined and I participated in several different, religions and religious groups. And what I found is the people in those groups, at least that I met, are incredibly positive people like yourself. So what I like about religion is that the vast majority of people I've actually met person to person are like you, where they're using it as, a positive force and the right values and the right morals. And if there's things they don't agree with, they just kind of push those to the side and then find their own way forward, where it's like they're mostly Catholic, but with a few little tweaks or updates to their operating system. So yeah, I love your view. I kind of see the point, whether well, like you said, you don't want to say it, but I agree there's things about religions everyone may not agree with. And without offending anybody, I'll just say I disagree if religion is a bad influence for you, and I agree if it's a positive influence for you. Now, kind of branching off this religion conversation, we're talking about attracting a lot. Do you have awareness of the law of attraction, the Rhonda Burns book, The Secret, the spiritual community of like energy and energy attracts energy kind of thing? Or is it more like psychological for you?
for me, it's my gut. It's
For
my
you,
gut.
it's what? Sorry, say it again.
It's my gut
Your gut.
feeling, my gut feeling. It's not a book. It's not woo woo or anything like that. And I respect all their views and all the ways they practice. Going back a little bit into religion, I respect everybody's religion and everything. But I'm with you. I There are a lot of people that are negative and hateful, and I do not like that at all. I just distance myself from that. But getting back to spirituality and energy, energy is light, and you always want to be in the light. You don't want to be in the darkness. And and you want to be the light and inspire others to to be better, do better, have so they'll have more. And it doesn't mean have more money, just have more love in their life. Um, just surround themselves with good people. And like you were saying, just surround yourself with good, because if you don't, you're going to go down a hole that you really don't want to go down and be down there. Just do your best online, offline, wherever you are, to always be around good. Be around good. That's what I always want to say, but I'm not into woo woo. Um,
And what do you mean by woo woo?
well, some people are like they. I call it woo woo. I'm trying to think of the way to explain it without just I don't know, healing.
You're not going to offend me. I mean, if you're worried
Oh,
about the
I
audience, I get it, but you definitely won't
um
offend me no
I'm
matter
trying to
what you say.
think of how to describe it. Woo woo to me is everybody stand here, you're all at, or sit here, you can't walk. I'm going to say woo 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 and you're going to all walk. That's what I mean by woo woo. I'm not into that type of woo woo. But what I am into is the type of positive, light energy. I'm attracted to light. I'm attracted to water. Water calms me. Um,
And you've never heard of Rhonda Byrne, The Secret?
I have. I didn't read the book.
Do you have thoughts on that? Because, like, sorry if I'm pushing the subject, but I'm just
No,
trying to
you're
find, like, I guess where the line is, like, for you. Because it sounds like, I don't know, like when you say woo woo, a lot of people are talking about some of the things you actually do agree with. Like I've heard that from other people. Like some people say hippie shit, some people say woo woo. Like this kind of part of things where there's no connection between, like there's no scientific or logical connection between what's happening in front of you and what the expected result is. I agree with that. I'm an 100% logical person, but at the same time, like you're a Christian, right? So some
correct.
people would call prayer kind of woo woo, but I believe
Yep.
in prayer, and I'm thinking you do too, or no? You don't, like you're
Oh,
a
I
Christian,
do.
but that's one of the
I
things you kind of know.
I do. But like the law of attraction is basically, they say if you say you want to be a millionaire, you will become a millionaire. Well, there's many steps you have to take to become that millionaire. There's vision boards and goal boards and dream boards and all that. But am I on the same path that you're on as I'm saying this? That's
Yeah,
that's what I think woo woo is that um, over woo wooing it. Basically saying, "Oh, I'm going to be a millionaire and it's going to happen because I say so." No, you have to work at it, and you have to do things to get to that point. And there's a lot of steps and trials and tribulations you will take to get to that point. What you have to give a little to get a little, I think. That's But the woo woo part, I believe in prayer. I pray every day. I pray every night before I go to bed. I'm grateful for everything I have, but um, I never read The Secret. I will say that. So it's got to be a secret to me.
that's pretty funny. Well, I like puns. I recently became a dad. I love dad jokes.
Oh, congratulations. It's so cool. Oh, congratulations. I'm
Thank
so happy
you.
for
But
you.
let me say this about the woo woo stuff, because part of my personal journey, um, at one point I was an atheist. Like that's kind of where, well, I started with Christianity, then I didn't like a lot of things or things didn't make sense. For a while I was an atheist, and I thought all, like to me, like everything about religion was woo woo to me.
Mm.
Like I had this moment, like I don't know if it was this exact moment or this is just like a crack and then it went from there. But it was like when I found out Santa Claus wasn't real, I was like, okay, so is God fucking real? Is George
Exactly.
Washington real? Like, is fucking Grandpa real? Like, what the fuck? Like I was like fucking, jarred by that. Um, and I thought everything was woo woo. Like I thought prayer was woo woo. I thought God, literally all of it. What
Hmm.
I can find is behind a lot of the things that seem woo woo, or even if in a large community, even if most of it or a vast majority of it, or like maybe less than half, but still a very large number of people in numbers, even if all those people are in like this like weird, disconnected, illogical, non making sense part of it, at the core of all of these practices that seem, or not all, but most or many are the ones I've encountered that seem quote unquote woo woo, there actually is like a deeper message that you kind of can connect or like does make sense or does have a practical aspect. So let me connect what you're saying about the secret to like some of the other things like you do as a person. Even though you're saying it's woo woo, I think people who read The Secret and then do what you said, like they take the point is just put up the vision board and one day the car will fucking appear in your driveway. Someone will knock on your door and say, "Hey, you've won a sweepstakes. Here's that car." And all you had to do is just look at it on this poster on your wall every day for this many days. Yeah, that sounds ridiculous to me. Um, right? Like
Yeah.
so we agree about that part of the woo woo.
Hmm.
But the real quote unquote secret, as I've kind of pushed past the woo woo, and because I'm always looking, well, what is the deeper thing? Like some famous people believe, like what there's got to be something. What are the people that like it and it's working? What the fuck are they onto? So what I found is the secret is just like a step one kind of thing, or like a fortifying kind of thing, but it's nothing without the physical work, right? So that's what it is. The secret is not possible without living in reality and doing literally everything you can in reality to make your goals happen. Because the real concept of the secret to me is that it's an energy thing. I believe in life, whether it's psychology, whether it's God, whether it's spirituality, what I've observed, what I've seen with my own eyes is that all people in my what I've seen either attract what they fear or what they love for whatever reason that is. So it's the energy inside you, even if it's subconscious, even if you think you hate something, someone goes, "Oh, I hate my mom. I would never date someone like this." Then they date this person, it's exactly like their mom. It's a subconscious or energy thing. So the secret is saying you have to get your energy to a place where all of your energy is aligned towards the goal that you want. And part of like aligning all of your energy and self towards the goal that you want is the mental aspect, and it's the spiritual aspect, and it's the energetic aspect. But when you say align all of yourself, there's the physical aspect. So if you only do the mental and spiritual and the words out loud and you don't have the physical, you're not in alignment. Like that's what it like is. It's the secret is the idea that whatever you put out the most, you will get, but it's not the idea that it works from a picture. The real secret is it works from your vibration. It works from like your actual truth or your actual energy. So somebody who puts up a poster and says like they want the car but doesn't do anything, louder than right, actions speak louder than words. Louder than the poster is their action is inaction. So they actually are putting out the energy that no, I don't really want this car, louder than the fact that they say that they do. So the secret is saying you have to be in alignment, and most people kind of understand the physical part, right? Like people who are not woo woo, right? They understand you got to grind, you got to put in work, you got to show up, like you got to show up early and stay late kind of thing. For those people, the second part is the secret because they don't realize there's this other aspect where some people do show up and they work hard and they do all these things, but they're not happy. And you even had an experience where you said you kind of followed one path in life and you ended up feeling not happy because that was part of your lesson and journey. But my point is, once you have the physical aspect set, it's a tremendous boost. It's a tremendous plus or a level up or gasoline on a fire or an accelerator to have this other force. To then be doing everything, working at the car dealership, selling cars, looking at car magazines, like, talking to people in the car community, learning how to buy and sell car parts. You do all that. Then you put the poster on the wall so you always keep the goal in mind, and that has to be tied to it. But I genuinely do believe, yes, that doing all those other things on top of the work, someone who does the work and does the, law of attraction and has all these other influences, I believe that person will get much further than a person who only did the physical work. One thing I want to say, I know I'm kind of, rambling, but I feel this is important. One other thing I want to say is that I don't think that okay, let me say it like this. I'm someone who likes to ponder things from all angles. I don't like to be wrong. To some extent, I don't believe in the idea that you could truly, absolutely know anything. I don't believe in belief. So let's say there it is all woo-woo, right? Because some part of me still has that atheist like mindset inside of me that is always asking, yeah, but what if you're wrong? What if we were right like back in the day when we thought it was all bullshit? Even if there is no God part of it or energy or because I was and this is where I was getting to also. The secret is a lot like prayer. It's just asking the universe to kind of give you that extra force. But even if that was all bullshit, even if I somehow got back to firmly believing that, there is still 100% yes for me to use the secret and use the power of the secret because beyond anything that's quote unquote woo woo, it's psychology. If you look at a car every day on your wall and you have the vision board, it's in your thoughts. Then when you walk past something that might, kind of get you there, you're more likely to notice it. Like you're more likely to have your unconscious kind of walk through a park disrupted, or you look up, or somebody says something about that car or buying cars and you hear it where if you didn't have the poster, if you didn't have your mind focused, you wouldn't have even heard it. Your subconscious would have filtered it out. So I do think there's tremendous power in that. And I think it's similar to the power of prayer, where yes, you still have to live your life, but it's this extra force to drive you and behind you. Again, I know that was long, but I just got passionate for a minute there, and sometimes I just dive in.
You know what? I'm with you in several of the things you said. I always have thought my thoughts create my reality. If I think I'm a piece of shit, I'm going to become a piece of shit.
Yeah, that is like literally the law
Yeah.
of attraction.
And that's how I've always felt. So, a lot of maybe I need to read that book. I think I'm going to get that book now. You're talking me into it. But yeah, you're right. Your thoughts become your reality. But if you want something bad enough, you will do everything you can to get it. But all of a sudden, like you said, let's say I wanted a convertible car, let's say a Corvette. Next thing you know, everything I see is a Corvette, 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 Corvette. And then it appears in some way, shape, or form, but you are working at that. It just doesn't magically appear in your driveway. You know, um, you had to do some work to get there. That's my thought.
Exactly.
And if you surround yourself with good people, good things will start to happen because they have for me personally. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for me shifting from who I thought I was to who I am. It's reality sets in at some point, and some people, unfortunately, it's just before they're called home, and it's sad, but it's so true. I wish of, I could have, I should have. Well, you didn't, and I'm sorry. That's all I can say. But that's not going to be me. That's not going to be me, and it is not me. I mean, I have good days, I have bad days, I have indifferent days, but when it comes down to it, I am going to live my life so that I am not remembered by the stuff I have in my freaking closet or the cars I collected, is whose life did I change? why I was here. And I'm here to make the world a better place. And that's why I'm here.
I agree with you, and I think that's beautiful. I'm like I said, I'm also here to make the world a better place. I wasn't always, I had times in life where I would say I was a pretty bad person.
Hmm.
Uh, like your vibe attracts your tribe. That's what I always say. So when I was in that atheistic kind of mindset, you could be atheistic and be a really good person. That wasn't what it was for me. I was very angry about being lied to about religion. And then I kind of thought, okay, if there is no Santa, then there's also no God and there's also no consequences. So whatever you don't get caught for, whatever you get away with, you might as well do, everything you could think you or know you could get away with or think you can and fuck other people and whatever. And it led me down this horrible path. My life became very dark. Um, and like you said, you hit a wall and you hit a point where you go, am I going to do this massive leap? Am I going to do this massive jump? Am I going to walk directly into the storm and embrace the fear or not? And a lot of people don't, but I'm just impressed. I love it. I love your story. I hope other people are listening and they get impressed by you. I hope people who, have an obstacle in their life that maybe isn't even as big as the obstacles that you've had in your life hears your story and goes, oh my God, I'm thinking I can't get past this fucking thing. And here's this woman who, went through a divorce, went through leaving her job, like went through dealing with like having her business during all this COVID shit, all these things that did destroy and could destroy people. You didn't get destroyed by, you're a survivor. You made it through and you didn't just survive, you fucking thrived. So, whoever's listening, please just note that, this is an uh, exemplary person, in my opinion. Hopefully yours too. Hopefully you're hearing it the same way that I'm hearing it. Let me just say, so we got about 15 minutes left here. Um, are there any other things that, before I go into more questions, that you kind of wanted to talk about or get out on the podcast that you feel like maybe we didn't get to yet?
Nope, go ahead. I'm ready.
Okay, cool. So this is touching back a little bit again, and in the last usually 10 minutes, I usually do what's called like the hyper shill, which is like the part of a talk show where the guest would, say what book they have coming out and what date and where they're signing it. So we could kind of start to move into that, I guess, a little bit because we're sort of towards there. But I'll keep asking questions, and like I said, if anything comes up, you let me know. But what is what is the price structure you started with? Like, what? How much did you charge after you did your first discovery call? Someone said, "I want to hire you." How much did you charge that person? Like, and what did you charge them for? Like, what was the pricing structure? And then, how or has that pricing structure changed between then and now?
It started at $50 an hour, and now I'm $300 an hour.
And that's about, if I'm thinking 5, 6 years it took you to get. That's how long you've been doing this, or no?
I've been doing this since 2018. So yes.
2018. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah,
Hmm.
I got that right. Great. That's amazing. So you said 50 to so 6 times as much, 50 to 300.
Hmm.
And how did you decide on 50?
I figured I had to start somewhere from free, so I figured I would start at that. 50 was the magical number for me. And
And sorry, go ahead.
nope, and then I did in increments. People that came on as beta, like the first 5 people, I didn't really raise their rates. Everyone else, then I went to 75, then I went to 125, and then I went to 150. And then now I don't do one on one anymore. I do group only. And I sell products instead, programs and I do mini courses and then sell them into a program.
So right now there's literally, like you said, you got eventually up to 300, but now you're not doing that anymore. So now there's literally no price someone could pay to do a one-on-one with you.
No, there's no one on ones anymore.
Have you ever thought about, and whatever, you're successful. This
No,
is just a thought. Have you ever thought about like making like an exuberant price for a one-on-one? Like, you know what I mean? Like instead of not even having it as an option, just be like, it's 1,500 for the hour kind of thing.
I never thought of that because I got to the point where I had to leverage my time, and I didn't want to be mentally drained for the person I was helping. So I decided to do groups. So I do one to many.
That's
And
what I'm saying though. Like,
yeah,
what if you charge the price that you get from everyone coming to the group, and then you just put that out there for the one to one? Like, it could be $10,000 an hour, but I'm saying whatever price would make it worth it for you. With all your positive energy and your belief, I wouldn't be surprised if you put some ridiculous price, like, or not ridiculous, but some high price like 10,000, 15 an hour, and just with the energy and positivity and flow you've got, I would not be surprised if you found at least one person who was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do that.
you know, you're probably right.
If
I
you do it and someone pays it, please let me know. I would love
oh,
to hear that this moment led to
I
that.
will. I will. I'm gonna
And
think.
then you get all your energy, right? Like if you start
Yeah.
getting into, like you could get a referral for a celebrity and then you're in their network and then everyone's like, oh, 15K an hour, that's nothing, like kind of thing. And then you just see like, not that many people and you have your energy, you have your money. I don't know.
Mm,
Could be a next level for you, I'm guessing.
yes, it would definitely be a next level for me. Definitely. And
Now, let me ask you this. So you also sell a course, you told me you're still selling that. And if so, what is the structure on that for pricing?
the structure on that for pricing, I have it for, I go up to $5,000 for my full 12-month coaching program. And that includes my courses. I have digital courses because some people just want the digital product. Some people want a membership program. So I am working on that right now. Um, and the people in my coaching program, if they it truly depends, but I'm going to say 997 to $5,000.
Per year or
It's 997 for the course, and then it's $5,000 to continue in a 12-month program with me.
a 12-month? And then, okay, so then they don't have one-on-one, but they have like group access to you then,
It's
right?
group. It's all group. It's all group access. Yes, it's a group
Where
program.
do you, where is the group? I'm guessing it's an online group.
It's an online group and it's a private group, and we meet, and it's once a week. Sometimes I'll do twice a week, but it's once a week. And I ask them to send me their questions ahead of time if they're able to, and then I answer them. And then other people will come in and ask their questions. And if we run out of time, then sometimes I'll have a second session. But most of the time, it's once a week, hour and a half to 2 hours long.
Does everyone get like one question kind of thing or
Yes. Everybody gets to ask a question. Absolutely. Some people just listen and then they'll ask, and some people just listen every time.
and if some people have like many questions, like what about that?
Then we just carry that on after the fact to the next week. If it carries over and it takes up everybody's time, then I'll have a second session. But I usually cut them off at a certain point. Or if I only got one or two questions and nobody's asking any questions, then we have a conversation back and forth. And then other people may give their answers in the back chat, kind of like what we do here. You know, if somebody has a question, they don't feel like coming up on the Spaces stage type thing. That's kind of what we do.
Awesome. Now, if people want to get connected with you, which I'm, hoping they do, where do they go to do that? You have a link here, I think to your Instagram. Is that the best place to find you, or how do people get involved?
They can just DM me. They can just DM me. They can connect with me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Um, pardon me, I'm everywhere.
I guess, well, that's amazing. So if you're listening and you want to get involved, just DM Cindy, just directly DM her. I guess what I'm also asking is, do you have a website?
Yes, I do. It
And
is
go ahead.
selfcaresass.com.
And do you have like some people just, if there's no link, they're gonna get too lazy. They'll just move on. Um, I'll obviously check it out. We're taking a full hour to hang out with you. I always do like kind of pre-homework and post-homework kind of thing. But let's say, someone is not as industrious, let's say, as I am. Do you have somewhere like a link tree or something where everything is
Yes.
just kind of, and where's that?
Pardon me. Right in my Twitter, there's a link right in there. Just click on that link and you can get a hold of me right through there. There's actually a free self-care um, guide there, questionnaire that I offer. There's also a meditation bundle I have currently on there.
Oh, okay, awesome. Sorry,
Yep.
I hadn't
No, it's
clicked
okay.
this fully.
It's
I
all
was
right.
just looking at it,
Nope.
and I didn't realize it. Like, I just saw it said Cindy K, and then I saw IG, so I thought it was a link to your Instagram. But now I'm seeing here, like, it's not Linktree, it's Canva, but it's the same
Correct.
type of thing as a Linktree. So this is where you have all of your links to all of your places, website, get your self care guide, join us on Clubhouse, join our Facebook group, grab your meditation bundle. So if you are interested, like she said, like I said, just click right on that link in her bio, and it will take you to all of her other links.
Correct. And I have some master classes coming up shortly and I'll announce them soon. And they'll be on a link on all my social spaces. Yes.
Now, I know you said in the beginning everything was free. Do you still do any, like, let's say I wanted to kind of get a feel for things or look at one of your groups, but I didn't want to kind of pay yet or something like that. Would I just the best advice be to look back at your previous YouTube content, or is there any like free meetings or free groups or anything like that that you sometimes hold as like a trial or like an interest kind of thing?
I do, and I do most of them on Facebook within my self care SaaS community. And it is a free group. And you can go into my Cindy Keil Coaching group in Facebook. You can get right in there. But the self care SaaS, I do vet people before I allow them in.
Do you think you would let me in?
Of course.
Just I didn't know if there was like an additional vetting. I don't know if I
Uh,
already passed it,
no,
or
I just want to make sure that
I don't know if there was like a physical an amount of push-ups I have to do.
no,
No.
not yet. Not yet. No. It's just a couple questions I ask, and I just do my research on because like I said, I'm very particular about who I surround myself with, but also for my group, the group of ladies and people that I serve. But I do free master classes and talks and all kinds of stuff like that.
This
Yes.
I was wanting to ask, and I just keep forgetting, but I'm glad I remembered now.
Sure.
Your whole marketing or the bio is geared towards women. Do you help men? Because I was saying, oh, maybe I'll come sit in. Is that even
No, I do help men. Um, but be honest, most of the people right now are women, but in the past, it's been 50-50. So I've helped both.
do you have like a preference or is it like
No, I do.
different material or anything?
I do not because the material is basically the same um, overall in the overall realm of self care. There isn't any differences except it's, man, woman, or whatever they identify themselves as.
Love it.
Yep.
So it's a lot of the same stuff. So then, yeah, so it should be similar questions, whether it's a man or a woman, maybe some differences, but relatively similar. What are like the questions you most get, or, like on that first call or kind of thing, or on a one-on-one, like what are people looking for and what are you providing? Like what are they asking you?
A lot of the questions is I'm so overwhelmed with this, that, and the other thing. I don't have time to do anything. Can you help me uh, put together a simple plan of two or three things that would help me? So we start out with three things. Three things. The other questions I have is I never have time for my husband, my partner. Um, um, we just don't talk anymore. All we do is fight because we're never making time for us. So I help them develop a plan to make time for them, kind of like a date night per se, to make this simple without. It's just a lot of overwhelm, a lot of stress, a lot of I am not enough. Can you help me? I'm ugly. Can you help me? Um, it some
I'm
people.
ugly was the last one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you do with that? I mean, that's
I
not a time
I give
management thing.
them I give them affirmations. We do positive talks, positive, 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 positive. They got to get back to the fact that they are not ugly. Nobody is ugly.
So it's
No,
a bit of time
yeah,
management, but it's also a little bit of I wouldn't say therapy, like you said, you're not licensed, not trying to get in trouble, but a little bit of counseling. Counseling it, I don't think you need a license because I've had a lot of counselors
yeah,
that
yep.
were just people with experiences.
Supporting and letting them know that they are enough. And then I give them some books that they should read, and then we talk about them and that kind of thing. Yeah. Or if they're not ready to, if I don't feel that they're the right fit, I will give them somewhere to go where they can get help or read or do something else, depending on, their questions. But yeah, I'm ugly. Um, why don't people like me? Why don't I fit in? Um, that kind of thing. And I know where they're coming from because I didn't feel like I fit in. You know,
So you do not only time management coaching, but also self image, self confidence, and personal empowerment coaching, right?
correct. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
would you say that kind of encompasses it, or is there anything I'm missing?
No, that encompasses it. Basically, it's the sometimes it's money issues. Sometimes, it's numbing issues, numbing with alcohol, drugs, shopping, that kind of thing, just numbing. And after, for example, for me, I go shopping, I go for one jacket and I buy 10. I had over 1,000 pairs of shoes. And
Literally over 1,000.
really over 1,000.
That is, I can't even picture the space for that. That is wild.
And you know what? All it was I would buy it and go, ah, that's great. Next day, I'm with the show and I'm with more shopping or having drinks, um, to numb your pain. Your pain is still there. You need to learn to work on that and let,
And you help people work through that.
yes, yes, because I've been there. I can help them. Yes.
So basically, since you lived through all these things, you survived through them and you succeeded, even though, you're not a therapist, you're not a licensed counselor, not
No,
everybody who's struggling needs psychological help from a licensed counselor. Some people just need, or even maybe the better help for some people is talking to someone who's been in their shoes, actually got from where they are to ahead of that, and just sharing that kind of lesson and journey without them having to figure it out for themselves. So that way, if they were someone who never would have figured it out, but could do it if they had the plan, well, now they could move forward because you've shared the plan, correct?
that is correct. And most people that counsel and support others in one way, shape, or form have gone through some type of real dark trial and tribulation and come out of it. And they are able to help others in that way because then people know they aren't alone. Oh my God, someone else has gone through that same thing as me or something close to it. And
Yeah,
then now,
I agree. Sorry, go ahead.
no, it's okay. And now they know they have someone that it can support them and guide them. They can't make them do anything. All they can do, it's their choice. Should I stay or should I go? Should I stay where I'm at or should I go to the unknown and find out what that's like on that other horizon over there?
I agree.
Yeah,
So I've loved every second of this. I got to wrap up just because I try to keep the episodes consistent. Today, I also have another podcast a little bit after this, so I got to kind of keep time oriented. I don't mind that we went a few minutes over here. That's fine. Like, honestly, I would love to keep talking another half hour personally. It's just it's like just because it's the podcast. I really enjoyed talking to you. One thing I want to just say is part of the place I've been coming from with the questions I've asked. I've kind of shared some of it with you that I'm picturing myself in your shoes. I personally do a lot of meditation. I think maybe, I don't know if this is like the last kind of push that I need or whatever, but this is definitely another push for me in the direction of thinking, okay, it's like really possible. Maybe I could be like a meditation kind of coach. I, joined a lot of yoga and meditation groups. I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of knowledge. I know a lot of different types. And maybe that could be me one day. So you're living my dream. You're in some ways this like dream version of me. I hope that one day I could grow to be you, Cindy. In certain ways. Obviously, I always want to be myself. I'm proud of myself, but you get what I mean. It's a compliment, not a self-deprecation thing. I hope I could be as successful as you and do similar things. Um, as we're closing out here, before I thank the listeners, Cindy, any last statement, a mic drop, a quote or aphorism, anything you want to go out on here?
I just want to thank you for having me on, and hopefully, those that were on while we were talking or going to listen later will get something out of this. And you're you've inspired me to read and look at things a little bit differently than I have. I always learn every time I speak or I listen or I attend something, and I've learned a lot today. So I want to personally thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And that makes me feel really good because, in addition to learning from you and providing value to the listeners, I also want to provide value to the guests. I want to provide a space for you to promote yourself, to learn things, to reach other people. So it's a mutually positive experience because, that's my mindset of the world is cooperation is better than competition in many ways. Yes, competition's necessary, but we've got that down. So we really need to focus on cooperation. So with that said, we'll close it out here. And yeah, Cindy, I just want to say to you too, definitely in addition to the people that showed up in the space, I do get a bunch of replays. Some of them come from the replays on Twitter from the actual space. The podcast is also on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So we get replays on all of those platforms as well. Right now, the biggest is Spotify, but yeah, we get plenty of replays. So definitely more people than showed up today that we saw, which was, I think, 4 or 5 people. Definitely more than that will hear your message and this will reach them. And then since it's recorded and uploaded, it'll be forever. So at any point, you could get another 100 or 1,000 views and we'll put out the positive energy for that. Um, yeah, again, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything you've taught me. And the last thing we always close out on here is a message from our good friend Afakasi Brand, who does the barbershop
Yeah,
spaces on Twitter. Oh, you know Afakasi?
I love avocado. He knows.
Hey, I fucking love Afakasi too. Afakasi is actually the person who taught me like I don't know, like in some ways about like the power of manifestation. Like I've known about it, been learning about it my whole life. But he's like I said before, you just gave me a little push. Sometimes everyone needs a little push. Afakasi is the one who gave me the push to start doing spaces, start a podcast, feel comfortable talking. I was in his space, like I talked a lot in there. I kind of got comfortable with my voice. So I love that you know him too, and he's a positive connection for both of us. So you probably know what I'm about to say next. Do you want to say it? Do you know what I'm going to say?
Know you are loved.
Exactly. That is the message, folks. If you haven't heard it today, you are loved. The universe is full of energy, whether you believe in God or not, or whatever you believe. The universe is here. We're living in it. It's full of energy. It's full of love. And if you haven't heard it today, folks, you are loved.